I didn't get the agenda.
We usually don't.
Did you guys get the agenda right away yesterday morning?
I got it.
I didn't get it till later.
You might need to go subscribe yourself again. You might have unsubscribed yourself accidentally. What's
So we're
going on?
live.
Yeah.
This is what we look like.
See if I can.
So I just, so like this.
Don't do that. There's a picture of us up on that.
Really?
Our videos, and there's this great big plaid thing.
Plaid and
Good
stripes
morning.
Morning.
are running rampant this morning.
Do you have a few minutes before you start or not?
Yeah, we're, the auditors,
She's trying to get set up.
yeah. I've been running around all over the county today. Oh my God, isn't it? Trying to put it over there.
Well, can you minimize it, then slide it over and then expand it?
There we go.
you go. So we're ready?
I guess I'm ready.
Okay, we're gonna say the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you think we wanna add that to the agenda, or are we okay?
We need to do it under open forum.
It'd be nice if it was identified if we were gonna discuss it.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to, add discussion of, Northwest Iowa Care Connections, joining their region and,
Just discussion, right?
this discussion.
Okay. So Northwest Care Connections, let's put it, what, 5A?
Sure.
Okay, 5A will make Northwest Care Connections. All right. So that was a motion to amend. Do you want to just do it all in one motion? Amend the agenda and approve as amended.
Improve this amendment, that's right.
I'll second the motion. So I got a motion from Jens Holden, second from Derby, to amend the agenda to add 5A, discussion on Northwest Iowa Care Connections, to the agenda and approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Scott Minders.
Morning. Today is actually somewhat of an exciting day for projects, which I have on the agenda there. But the thing's not on the agenda. I guess our guys are hauling dirt to the box northeast of Buffalo Center yesterday, and today I assume if it's fit. So those projects will be put back together here as dirt's fit to haul and work with.
So that was north of Buffalo?
Yeah, northeast, the one there, a couple miles northeast of Buffalo. You're hauling from the Helm Pit there, just west of Forest City. The rest of the guys are finishing up mowing and getting ready for, inevitable snow and blading when the conditions are fit and things aren't too frozen to work with it.
Don't say inevitable.
Yeah,
We've had dry winters.
yeah, I guess that's not inevitable, but planning for it is,
Yes.
so. Yeah, it sounds like we have a dusting coming or maybe a little more, but
One of those nuisance ones.
yeah.
So that box covers your last one then?
So all three of them are in the ground and have been set, and the creeks are open. The one down in Grant, I believe they're still working on the grading part of it. One in Buffalo, they're still hauling too, so. Finishing up multiple projects.
Your side dump truck was sitting by the only Granite this morning.
All right.
I have something, if you're done. Steve Boylan, I saw him at a meeting, and he said that, you know where he lives, Steve Boylan? You go east, 90th and 390th, I think it is. Go east there, and he said that road is almost impassable.
And I drove it this morning,
Oh, you did? Okay.
and yeah, there's some nasty holes right halfway down.
Is that going off the curb?
Yeah, go off the curb on
East to the curb.
Is that,
I got another call about that.
is it 90th or 100th that comes straight out of Thompson?
100 comes out of Thompson,
Yeah,
so it'd be east of 100.
east of 100, yeah, so it's
East of
another
90th
mile.
is the blacktop.
Well, he told me 90th and 390th. So,
Whatever.
Then
you know where it's at.
east from there.
Yeah.
It's about halfway down, there's a spot, that's just, there's big holes here, there's big holes here, and I thought I was avoiding the holes, and I was going 35, bam, into it.
Oh, there, yeah.
And,
Do you want to send it?
WCTA permits,
I don't.
you familiar with that? Because I forgot what to ask.
Well, what's the question?
I don't have the question, I wrote down permits for WCTA, and now I can't remember what they were for.
Well, I visited with,
Mark?
your,
Oh, maybe, yeah, the construction manager.
Mark.
Yeah,
We
okay.
visited with Mark a while ago about
Okay.
some other company putting in fiber, and he was making sure that if we permitted it, it wouldn't be over top of their
Okay,
fiber.
all right.
That was one thing I remember.
Good.
And I haven't seen anything recently.
Okay. Yep, that's it for me.
Did you ever check on those trees over the road then?
I've seen them,
Okay.
I guess.
Is it something that we need to attend to, or is it something?
Yeah, it's something I guess we have a clear path on. You know, the one north of the feed mill there is a case where almost all of it is overgrown from the right-of-way line and leaning over. We'd have the right to trim them, but is it our responsibility to do so? It'd be nice if the landowner would manage their trees and help us out in that case, I'd say.
Is it harmful to the road?
Not to the road directly. It may cause some obstructions if you're driving a truck with a box up in the air, or a combine or something real big like that, grain cart maybe. Not sure what the clearance would be exactly, but they're pretty low to the road, and they're a nuisance really. Probably if you're running a combine or whatever, you'd probably pick another route because of it.
Could we just notify the landowner and say that we'd appreciate if you took care of the trees, if not, we're gonna cut them down?
We could. Probably wouldn't cut the trees down, just trim them so that, you know, they're not obstructing the road, but it's not something we like to do. Usually with big mature trees, it's best not to, you know, mess with people's mature trees, because some people care a lot about them.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm not sure the
Well,
individual.
and
I just say that so it'd be an impetus for him to go out and do it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think most of the landowners would want their trees obstructing traffic on the road either, so trimming them back, cutting them down they may be against, but trimming them back, but truthfully, if it's your tree on your property, you should probably take care of it, I guess, it's what I feel if it was my tree anyway, so.
yeah, we can certainly write a letter to suggest they trim them, and avoidance of whatever trim job we would do.
Would the landowner have liability if somebody had damage to their equipment or vehicle?
Are they in the easement?
Hanging over,
Hanging over the easement?
you know,
Then I would assume it would
it's a-
be the landowners.
you know, I think the way that Iowa law reads that if they're hanging over into your property, you're allowed to trim them. But you certainly can't go on your neighbor's property and cut their tree down. But, you know, the best way to handle these things is always by discussions, and hopefully, they realize their responsibility for the trees and would help everybody else out by taking care of them.
It's a good idea, just send a letter, see what happens.
Anything good?
No.
Alright. If you have nothing further, we'll go on to number 3. Approved plans and specifications for 2020 asphalt resurfacing projects. That's listed.
Yep. This item is about the paving projects, the repaving projects for next summer. The projects will be let February 18th through the DOT. The projects are funded from SWAP or FM accounts, so they're not run through our budget, except for the LFM project by the Buffalo Center city limits there. That will be a local project planned to be funded from next year's budget, so that's something to look forward to as we work on the budget for next fiscal year. Estimate for all the projects in total is about 4.4 million. So this is a big deal. It's something we've been working on for a while and have had in the plans for a number of years. So we have 5 projects. One of them is on A16 from 100th Avenue, which is R34, to 180th, which is Scarville. We have one on R50 from 830 to Highway 9. So that's a few miles east of Thompson and then north. One of them's on 838, which is from Leland east to the Winnebago Church, or R72. And then 2 projects together make up the roads on the periphery of Buffalo Center. A little short stretch by the old Casey's there, and then 10th and 12th Avenue going north out of Buffalo Center, and 10th I guess is Mill Road too, and then 440th is on the north side of Buffalo Center, that paved mile there.
So the whole mile on the Mill Road there is gonna be done?
The Mill Road is just 1 block from Highway 9 north, and then from, I think it's 7th Avenue, which is on the north city limit of Buffalo,
yeah.
from there to 440th.
They're skipping the worst part of it.
Sure, yep, it's in the city limits, so it's city's responsibility.
That's the city's responsibility there.
Yep, we've let them know we're planning on projects. It'd be the time to get back in touch with them, tell them that we have.
All right, see, I guess I didn't know if that was our road or whether that was theirs.
Yeah, the city limits jogs a little bit there, you can see on the map there, but it goes down the center line of the road from basically the south city limits all the way up to the 2nd Avenue, which is the road
there is a little
north of
block
Casey's,
right
and then
there,
it jumps around for the nursing home, and I think
Yeah.
maybe the school ball fields and a couple of apartments there.
Yeah. Huh.
And then jumps back in.
Yeah.
So I'll visit with Deb down there too, let her know what we decided on for treatment and give her some plans, and then maybe they can contract with Heartland to get that done. Or whoever we contract with, whoever gets the bid, and try to fit that in there too.
Yeah, no, if they're there already, that would be the time to,
Yeah,
they would be able, I would assume, be able to give the best bid then.
I would think. So each of these plan sets has a spot for all 3 of your signatures.
Okay, so what's the actual work being done then?
Okay, so all the projects except for the ones on the periphery of Buffalo Center are 4 inches of cold in place recycling. So the top 4 inches will be ground up in a pug mill and mixed with a rejuvenating agent, packed back down. Once that's done, it'll be kind of wavy and open to traffic, and they'll run on it for several days, and then we'll put 3 inches of new asphalt over top in 2 separate lifts. Planning to do it full width paving and kind of shutting down the section they're working on, but otherwise leaving all the road open and pulling the road back open in the evenings, so we won't have marked detours, which is not great options in some of these roads in our county for detours, because they're so far out of the way that likely wouldn't be used anyway.
So you anticipate, what, 1 mile at a time, or?
Last time we paved, it got to be 2 miles by the time they were, rolling and getting things cool enough to open back up, and, they get to near an intersection, so it makes sense to have both miles close. They're not kind of working on top of each other and that kind of thing. So it gets to be, working on a stretch of less than a mile, but usually close 2 miles at a time. Stage a flagger on both ends and at the intersection and tell people kind of what they can do and how far they can go. Anybody moving through the project area, hopefully will, there's a project going on and try to take different routes, but hopefully it disperses kind of equally so we don't have some problem areas, but we'll address that if we find any. The ones by Buffalo Center is a High Pro 1.5" overlay, which is something that's been used a lot lately.
What's the name of it?
High Pro is kind of a coined phrase, but it's high performance thin lift overlay. It's kind of like a polymer modified asphalt, which makes it more rubbery.
Yeah. Did you ever notice what they did on, I don't know if you call it, coming into Mason City from the west? Is it 122 probably? They ground it down and then they put a thin layer on it that's got nasty grooves in it. It almost darts you.
I haven't noticed that.
I wasn't impressed with their job between Clear Lake and Mason.
Yeah.
That was the finished product?
Yeah, it's this year.
Wow.
You come out of town, it's got this under one, your car will get pulled one way or the other.
We won't see any of that kind of thing. I guess I'm not sure what it looks like, but all of these miles will be brand new pavement, at least at the surface level. The thin lift over the cold in place and recycling is quite a bit less product to be hauled and, not recycling and all that, but 40% less cost, and hopefully we can pull the life out and won't have 40% less life.
So they're milling it and laying it back down all in one process.
Nope, they will be milling it and then
Hauling it away.
either using it for shoulder mixture or putting it back in the mix or anything. There's a couple of options that they can do with it, but it's really up to them. And then they'll be bringing in new asphalt for the surface.
Yeah, I just assumed that one you're talking about, that was, they were gonna put on the final coat next year or something.
I hope so.
Well, if I'm that way, I'll have to notice it is there.
But I'm sure the DOT knows what they're doing.
I guess I'll make a motion to approve the plans and specifications for the 2020 asphalt resurfacing projects as listed on the agenda.
I will second that.
Got a motion from Jensvold, a second from Stanford to approve the plans and specifications for the 2020 asphalt resurfacing projects. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So we all three sign it?
Yeah, that's what's been done, so I left it that way. Technically, your approval and resolution is sufficient, but nice to see the signatures on the plans for historical record.
Everything was black.
I don't know. We have plenty of black pens. People are stealing their own ones. Or we're losing their own ones.
Mine's blue. Okay, consider for approval easement purchase agreement for bridge replacement project, Grant Township, section 27.
So some further celebration. This project we initiated over 2 years ago in the planning stages, and because it's not in a drainage district, we don't have any right-of-way for the creek. So because the culvert stretches outside of the existing road right-of-way, we needed to buy permanent easement. We approved one of them for the Rasmussens a while back. They were pretty easy to locate and work with. This piece of property was owned by several parties, some of it trust and estate, and amongst that there was a death of one of the parties. So we had quite the process, but they've been good to work with. It just has taken some time to get to this point. So I have notarized signatures from all of them for .05 acres of permanent easement and 0.29 acres of temporary easement. And it's pretty minor in area, and most of which is in grass strip along the creek anyway. The agreement is for $657.38.
I'll make a motion to approve the easement purchase agreement for bridge replacement project, Grant Township, section 27.
I'll second it.
On that.
A motion from Jensvold and a second from Stensrud to approve the easement purchase agreement for bridge replacement project, Grant Township, section 27. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
This bridge will bid with 2 others in April.
Signature.
Notarize it, that's right.
But you saw.
Yes, I sure did.
It's on film. All right, is that it then?
That's it.
All right, so we'll go to auditor's office. Need Chris, where's she here?
She is here.
7511, is it? Yes.
That's pretty over.
Carla, if you lose that, then I'll kill you.
We're ready for you.
All right, thank you.
You know what? Let's just go and get it done.
She's coming in.
I don't want that.
Imagine we can have Sandy come on. Talk to her about it, or
7545.
Hi, it's Sandy.
Hi Sandy, we're gonna be to your subject in a little bit here, so.
Okay, let me come up. Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Bye.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Do you have anything for drainage?
No, there's gonna be a tree pre-construction meeting at 1:30, but I didn't post it, so it's not gonna be very
I
exciting.
had Jim Emerson calling me from down south yesterday,
They got letters.
and I told him what was going on.
Mm-hmm,
He was excited.
good.
He did have some questions.
Okay,
What's this one?
This is that.
11 lower ditch.
Oh,
Am I leaving
Yeah.
there?
okay,
so did you tell him to call Rick
On the
on
questions?
his questions?
Well, I told him where we're at on it.
Oh, gotcha, okay, all right,
And I think I could answer most of his questions.
good.
I just, yeah.
Yep.
So some of the things he was asking about will have to be addressed in the future.
Okay,
Okay, so right now, we're cleaning the trees on the annex
Mhm.
ditch. And then we'll be moving forward with the clean out of the ditch.
mm-hmm,
And so he was asking, where it gets close to the road on the north side there of his farm, they've had some issues in the last 5 years with drainage. And I said, well, I guess you could simply just look and see how does it work this year. You know, it might be better when that ditch is cleaned out.
right,
And I said, and then he was asking if we do get that, because I told him we're still working towards straightening the ditch out at one point. He says, well, what happens to the old ditch then? And I said, well, it's still going to be an operating ditch. It's just the water won't be flowing through it. It'll be separated.
Mhm.
So it'd be less acres on that part of it, so it should work better.
Mhm.
And then he asked, well, whose job is it gonna be to maintain that ditch that?
It's a good question.
It's gonna be poured in. It's
Or
been
if they
annexed in.
clean out and straighten the ditch, would they take the dirt and fill in the old?
Well, I guess common sense says where the ditch used to come like this and you straighten it like this,
Mhm.
you take this and you block it there.
Mm-hmm,
But you leave that ditch for the most part
okay.
to do its former thing just for those acres.
For those acres.
What,
Block it so the water coming from upstream doesn't divert
Right.
around that way.
Yeah.
And go straight and still have it so the water can flow to the ditch.
Right, 'cause
Yeah.
there's a lot of area still relying on that ditch for drainage, all the tiles go into it.
what would you say about future then?
In my
Because-
opinion, we should probably develop a lateral. For
Okay.
a sub-district of that, because it's gonna
Just a
fork
lateral.
into that same.
Yep.
Then you establish who's in that lateral to
Yep.
pay for maintenance.
Yep, sounds good.
Does that flow back into the one you're gonna strip over?
Right.
Yeah,
They'll
it'll still tee into it.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea. Just to make
We'll
lateral.
talk to Rick about that, how that would work. I don't see it being a huge process.
No, he already knows what's
It
going
just got
where.
annexed into the district, why would we take it out? You know,
Right, right,
it's still benefiting everybody in that area.
exactly.
And
Good
they're all
call.
still paying for things on it, so
Mhm. Okay,
that's kind of the way I left it with him. And I told him.
and we're not done with the reclass anyway, so
And he was, wondering where we were on straightening it out, and he was wondering, so how do I access my land when we create that island out there?
that's another good question.
But I told him, once you divert most of that water, you won't need as big a culvert to put in to access that.
And he would have to put in that culvert.
And he sounded okay with that.
Yeah, there were 3 letters that went out to people that they will be on their land. I got a copy of it yesterday.
All right,
That's all I have.
that's all I had.
I had, two people, I would say they're generous, 2 people from last week's meeting or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember which. They're really kinda, they're not mad, but they're, very concerned, for all of the, reclassifications we're doing.
And that's fine. I get that. But I also feel like it's been 50 years for most of them.
Is
And
what?
it's been almost 50 years for most of them.
Yeah.
Plus, if it hasn't been classified out by laterals, and we've been working on laterals, I'm gonna classify it. And not everybody's paying into these classifications. It has been a lot.
Yeah. and
I
she-
agree.
And she didn't say, let's scratch reclassification, she was concerned about the cost, and I realized that. I mean,
Right,
them-
and I don't wanna do it if we don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, because that's more that the landowners have to pay.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that. I feel like I've only suggested ones that I felt really needed to be done right now. You know, we're working on 18 in 3 or 4 different laterals, and somebody else, a landowner, requested it.
Yep.
So that's a good fit.
Lots of times you look at the cost per percentage change, the percentage of change usually isn't a lot.
No, but at least it's current.
Unless you're Tom and Ron Rigg.
And if we could do that one again, I wonder how it would come out.
That's what I heard.
Right.
2 years ago.
So, because that was before me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got burnt bad.
Yeah.
But that was a whole different
Yeah, I know.
engineer than we use now, so.
They were on the border of everything.
Yeah.
Evidently theirs was the biggest change.
Yep.
And it wasn't all much benefit.
They went from 11 to 25.
So, yes, but I do understand that.
Yeah.
I do.
Very good.
And we usually look at each one to make sure it justifies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing else for drainage, I guess that's all for that. We'll move on to 5A, discussion on Northwest Iowa Care Connections. It's not up there, so we wrote it in.
Thought I was going blind.
So
Thought I was sitting too close.
Yesterday, we received a letter, or at least I received it yesterday.
I didn't receive it until.
Kelsey sent it to me anyway. So at least they're asking for information, which is an encouraging factor, I guess. For their decision-making process, they need more information, so. This is some of the stuff that they were asking for. I'm assuming you're gonna help us with this, Sandy? Fill this
Yes.
out. This is one
What
document.
What I'd like to do is get together with Donna and go over some of those service things and to make sure that I have it correct since I've been out of the system for a while. And then hopefully do that maybe tomorrow to get this done and then get it back to you. And so you can work on it to get it to her by the 13th, I think they wanted.
One question on here says, does your county have current debt owed to the region? And if so, how much is owed to your region at this time, and are you contesting a set amount? And so currently, we are in good standing, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Until they send another bill and then we have
Right,
to deal with
right.
it.
And I think, isn't there a question in here someplace too? How much do you think you're going to get back from the region when you leave? Is that on here too?
Do we take our balance with us?
I would assume that we get to keep the current percentage of the fund balance.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Unless they change it again.
And they can tell you what that amount is, so.
Is there something in the agreement that we have now that says we can take it, or is it?
There's a certain percent that you can take of the overall fund balance for the 22 counties, correct, Bill?
According to the agreement or according to the state code?
According to the 28E agreement that we have.
You guys thought any more about challenging?
What's that?
Have you guys thought any more about challenging and forming our new region?
Well,
Just going that way?
That would probably be my number one choice, but I think this is the first step. And then if they decide they don't want us, we can stay within Iowa code by doing it this way. And if they decide they don't want us, then we have to.
Be more aggressive,
Yes.
decision making.
What do you think of that?
I think that's probably the appropriate thing to do.
Okay,
I'm not quite sure though, it's something to think about. I'm gonna have to look at what their, of course, what the services are that they pay over there. And I don't know if they pay for payee services or if they pay for public health nursing. But I think with the amount of money that you're gonna save overall and the amount that you levy, you could probably put maybe like $10,000 in the general relief budget to pay for payee services that would cover it. You could look at what the nurses are getting from the region and add that to their budget. But I would think that they would continue to pay for telehealth and the meds at the jail. If not, you could add that to their budget. But that's the kinds of things I need to research to see what they do over there. But I still think if you add that to those other budgets, you're still going to be money ahead. And it's going to be a lot less paperwork for them.
and nicer coming to work.
So I don't know what your thoughts are there, but
So this is due, what, next Wednesday?
yes, 13.
Yeah, next Wednesday, so we can probably approve everything that's put into this before then, or?
But yeah, I will, let me get it done, and then I know,
That's me.
some of these things you're gonna have to decide, you know, who you're gonna have as your representative, you know. And I don't know if you have any pending number 4, I don't know if you have any or not.
Sorry, it's elections today, so I gotta have my phone on.
Yeah. So, yeah, other than something, is the county currently in any kind of litigation for anything? I don't think so.
Okay.
I've ever heard of. That'd be-
Sounds pretty good there.
So all those would be,
See, a lot of these would probably be pretty simple questions, but it's, and you,
And then, so when they ask on number 5, what you're gonna be levying, are we planning on whatever it is over there?
well, I think you're gonna have to probably, if we get approved there, levy what they have, correct? Because it's a lot less than what it is over there.
Well, once we're approved over there, then we
Yeah.
can, that's why we want to get this done.
We got,
before
yeah,
we
because you gotta
make
get it
levies.
done.
And, because otherwise if we levy too high, that'll bring our, we won't bring that money with us.
That's right.
Well, you mean for next year? Because we're leaving before next year starts, or as next year
Well,
starts.
yeah, but we will have had made our levy in the spring.
And we'll be able to drop it.
But I would think you'd wanna levy what their levy is, in the new region.
Stupid question probably, but say we levied $1, do they still have to give us services? Or, and can we do that with the?
Well, we can, technically, we cannot pay our levy, and they still have, for where we're at now, they still have to provide services to our people.
But I mean, a way of getting around it, could we levy $1 and still get services, get our money back?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it in the
no,
agreement that way?
Well,
The agreement's gonna say that you have to levy.
yeah, well, you have
That's
to
where
levy
we're
what
at
everyone
now.
else levies, so.
Oh, okay.
There, except for a couple of circumstances that created a lot of problems. Some counties.
But I think it's important to know what that, we get this done as fast as possible, so we can know what that levy is. And if they're not gonna pay for those other services, so those other budgets could be increased by that amount, and you're still gonna be money ahead.
Yeah.
I mean-
It's like I've always said, since 2017, we've got probably right close to $1 million that could have been spent on people in this county. So, we'll be able to take care of our own better, and saving money isn't the goal.
Well, you wanna pay for
No,
services.
well, yes, it is.
Well, yes
But
and no, but
services
taking care of
along with it,
services to our people,
Yeah.
and then saving money on top of it, better services to our own people and saving money on top of it, it's a
Exactly.
win-win.
Exactly.
Okay, I got a question on number 7 here. We understand that Cassup County has debt. If this debt is found enforceable against Cassup County, what is your county's position to modify the 2080 agreement? So,
I think they're paid.
They've already,
They
that's
pay.
what I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
they've got a structured,
Yep, that's already.
So-
That's gonna be more not applicable.
and
Yep,
Cassup
right.
County will be levying more, even if they leave, CSS, they will be levying more to pay what they owe to CSS off over the next couple of years.
So that's more between them and CSS.
And they probably would levy, they could only go up to the max, so, otherwise they're probably taking care of it all in one shot.
Other than, you don't wanna burden the taxpayers too much.
Yeah. We've already been burdened.
Real estate CSS owns, what is the plan?
Well, the only thing that I think that they're saying, maybe anything bought after July 1st of 2014 out of the mental health, out of Fund 10 belongs to them. And I think we'd have to look and see if any of the computers were. I'm unsure of that. Because lots of our stuff was bought before that, or was bought with our targeted case management funds.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But that would be the only thing.
The only thing would be just a couple of computers.
Is he pulling a ruse on us again? Wouldn't it belong to the state?
No,
No.
The 2080s spells it out.
be glad you don't have a county car.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I suppose Donna's from those here.
Did you get a chance to read that?
Yes.
So, but that's the only thing I can think of. How about you, Carla? Would be maybe computers? Because everything else was
They own,
purchased ahead of
at
time.
this point, they own the property. They just, all the counties own it and they lease it or rent it back, whatever it is.
They call it real estate.
Yeah.
It just sounds like we own some island down the Caribbean or something.
Well, maybe that's right.
Do you have any other questions? on
No,
this?
but I thought I could work this up and then send you a draft copy of what you,
Mike, are you okay with him being the point person?
Absolutely. You've done a great job.
Yep.
Great job, Bill.
So I suppose what you need to do is get it on the agenda for next week to approve whatever we come up with here and then, okay, and then get it out right away that day. Any suggestions or anything that, would it be okay if I mentioned that in there if it's not covered to add it to the other budgets? Because they asked how we're gonna deal with it if it's not covered with that, with their services.
Which number is that?
I think it was in the cover letter that I got.
Oh,
I'll cover that on the email. Provide a list of providers, and is that what were you talking about?
Yes, hold on, let me get to it.
otherwise it doesn't seem like too much to go out.
That's pretty straightforward.
I think there was some question someplace that asked about if something's not covered over there, what your intentions are, so,
I thought that was the number 7.
number 7, okay,
Seems like the old one.
okay.
Four is a moot point. This county is not. And 3 is a moot point. No, I think.
Okay, please give information about current services funded by your county within your region.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, how are they gonna look at that? If there's more services being provided over there than what?
Well, that's what I said, you know, because I know that they pay for payee services, which $45 a month for people. And if they don't do it over there, I'm saying maybe we could add that to our general relief budget to open that up and put it in there, and you're still going to be money ahead because you're going to save.
Yeah.
I would think you may be talking $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 is not very much.
Do you anticipate that we are going to be in a full-fledged agreement like we are over there, or are we going to be trying to separate it so we have sub-regions
I'm unsure. I think it's probably,
to isolate?
I don't know if that's going to be an option to you.
My guess is it will either be full-fledged or we won't.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get a lot of entanglements. The other way, I mean, it'd be a lot of extra.
What's nice about it, though, you're going to be county that are like size.
Yeah, that'll help.
Like size and like-minded. I mean, it'd be a much better fit.
I can see everybody over this way has one focus, and that is to make sure you have good services for your people and cost effective.
And then when we attended their board meetings, the board was very active in discussions, didn't you feel?
But, the meetings I was at, and I listened to all the problems that they described, or their discussion or whatever, and then their action on all of it, that every one of them, they acted the way I would have, and thought the way I would have on their decision making. So it's, I think it's going to be a much better fit.
So let me get together, we'll get what I can, and I'll get the information to you guys, and then I suppose you're going to have to put it on your letterhead to address these questions and then get it ready to go on Tuesday, correct? Is that when you're meeting next Tuesday?
Yep.
Carla, you have any input?
I don't know, just use me, folders, you don't know me.
All right,
Is that, okay.
sounds good.
We'll get it done.
Thanks, Sandy.
Yep.
Glad you could see me today.
Me too. How you feeling?
Not with my fingers.
Oh, God. Well, let's see you guys later.
I'm out there.
That looks, I did. Perfect.
Okay, open forum. You have anything else?
Oh, probably a signature maybe.
Oh, are you guys going to the district supervisors meeting December 5th?
Yeah.
I actually am if we're out of the field.
Well, yeah, no, I don't, yeah, hopefully we're done by then. Yeah. But we should be for sure. Yeah. Just for the rest of the,
Okay, so I suppose we better plan on.
Should the January. I wanted to say you did.
Oh, that, okay, yeah.
you can go watch the video of their meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So all three are going?
Well, I'm content, but
Do you want me to?
we more than likely will be.
Well, we should,
Yes. Start reading.
Sounds like the meeting that was double scheduled on that day for the workforce development might be a week later after that. So I don't know, look for communication on that. I haven't seen it.
I just got some, yeah.
Did you? Okay,
It
good.
looks like anyway.
All right. Anything else for open forum? Anyone?
Do you, talk about the architect a little bit, or?
Oh, yeah. I had a conversation with Rick Widener about coming up with the plans for, or doing the adjustments to the contract. And he just told me right out, he's got a lot going on. You know, he's got a lot of bond referendums coming up he's got to prepare for. And he nicely said, I just don't have time to do it right now. He said, you're welcome to go find somebody more local. So Carla has done some work on that and has lined up a couple of local architects to come and give us a quote on that.
Just gonna suggest that, let's go local.
yeah.
So we have two guys gonna give us quotes for next week, and they'll be ready for Tuesday.
So he's,
There again, how can any of these guys give us really a certain quote when you run into something?
well, what they're doing is just
Just a facade?
working with the structural engineer, giving directions, just basically because this is a design, we're taking it down and putting it back up, and there's certain things that have to meet the state code, and so it's their job to make sure that happens. You know, how often do you have the handrail, and
But I can just see this thing, and there again, we gotta defend it, I guess, because most people want it. Once they tear the facade off, it's a possibility that whole thing's rotten underneath it. It's a possibility, hope it ain't, you know.
Yeah, this whole thing has been deeper than what we thought when it
Yeah.
started, so it's, but I think, like, Dave said, he says, what he's got for plans up there, you could drive a truck across it, so.
the one thing that Rick Widener suggested that instead of having that floor on the balcony up there that we don't use,
Yeah,
just do tiebacks, have it hollowed, and
Yeah,
then you won't have those places up there to deteriorate, but then the water still comes down and it might deteriorate that spot. So
well,
put this.
could you design it where the water is channeled to spouts or shoot
Well,
out?
that's why we have a structural engineer who's gonna take care of that for us, so.
well, between the architect and the structural engineer, they'll make that decision what is the best solution.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's what's going on with that. Because we were kind of getting mixed messages from Rick when he was emailing back.
Mhm.
It was just easier to talk to.
I was so busy, I can't get anybody to do any drainage stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody can.
Well, these are probably been in the work order maybe for 3 months.
Are they?
Well, no, I'm just looking at these, but I got other problems. I got two holes in the middle of fields that you could drive a combine into. Everybody's too busy.
Feelings just, I can't see it.
Actually, yeah, there's two.
I know a guy that just spent well over $3 million. And it's not working. 2 years ago is what he did, so it should be working by now, you would think.
Okay, so I guess we're done so far.
Maybe we have to approve the con claims.
Second.
Got a motion from Stenzer and a second from Gensel to approve the semi-monthly county claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We stand adjourned.
If I were to hire Tyler, he would be a local guy, even if he costs